Oh, wait.
Are we on? Alright. Sean Wadsworth calling the Albany Planning Board March 9th meeting to order at 6 o'clock. Present we have,
Amalia Torres, alternate.
thank you,
Morris West, Vice Chair.
Jim Druin, Select Board Rep.
Curtis Coleman.
Brian Bailey.
thank you. So minutes of last month's meeting. Which was February the 9th. Did everyone receive for review?
I did. Yeah.
Anyone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve Moses.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Carries unanimous.
Abstain.
Abstain?
Yep.
All right. Thank you. All right. Zoning ordinance, is that, have anything else? Does anyone else have anything else to add to the agenda? All right, zoning ordinance. Anyone want to start anywhere in particular other than page 1?
I looked at definitions,
Great.
that's where I was starting, and I just have a handful of, actually, a couple. Number 2, accessory dwelling unit. The state has one that's written, and then really the only thing it changes is it just has the verbiage detached in there to define what an ADU is.
What page are you looking at?
I'm looking at the beginning of the ordinance under,
Page 5, I think.
yeah,
What page?
page 5.
Page 5.
Okay, I have a comment on page 5 too.
So anyways, I noted that one, just to clean that up, so detached was included. I don't know if you want me to go through all the ones I picked up for definitions. There's only 3 or 4.
Yes, let's do that. So, I'm just getting into my Word copy. Sorry, page 5,
Okay, I am,
accessory dwelling unit.
You
So you would like, you're proposing to change the definition to,
I can read it to you. Accessory dwelling unit, ADU, is defined as a residential living unit, either attached or detached, that provides independent living facilities, in parentheses, sleeping, cooking, eating, sanitation, for one or more persons on the same lot as a single-family home.
okay. If I see yours, I'll just type it in. It's so hard for me to hear it and get it. And did you get the definition from the state RSA?
Yes.
Okay. So this is exactly what the state RSA is?
Yeah, 99% sure, yes.
Do you have the state RSA? It would be good to reference it. We could just say RSA.
I don't,
blah, blah,
I'd
blah.
have to get it.
Huh?
I would have to get it, I don't have it.
Okay. Would anyone mind looking it up while I'm typing?
6723.
I'm gonna do it this one. What's that?
Racism, looking up stuff.
Okay, yeah, did you take the definition from the words and phrases defined in 6723? Or you don't remember? I mean,
No, it was the newest one.
okay, well, this is the old one. That it was the only one that I had. 6772.
I see RSA 674-71. 674-71 is what I've got.
Definitions, yeah, here you go.
And then there's 3 of them, apparently.
It reads a little differently than what you have, Jim. Just, grammatically, it's a little different.
Yep.
Do we just want to take the definition from the state verbatim? Is there any reason to have different grammar?
I don't think there is,
Okay.
myself. Yeah, I think that'd be the best.
do you know where you got your language? Was it just from
No,
the previous?
I didn't note it where I got it.
Um, I guess my question is coming to my mind, do we even need to define it, or do we just say accessory dwelling unit, see RSA 67471?
I was saying that too.
Yeah.
And
Do
here,
we even need to have it in our definitions?
right, and maybe, I mean, I'm looking at this and it says here, where did I just see it? Do we even need to include it all? Can we just wipe it out?
Do we? That's the,
This
yes, I
says-
agree, that is a question.
This says here is, I saw it just a second ago, that it
I guess I
doesn't
think you do need to
address
include
it. It says if a municipality doesn't address it,
What's that?
they just have to abide by the law. Let me see, hold on, let me find it again.
Yeah, I assume in our zoning, we would have to have something that states that our town follows the state. Because there are stipulations on ADUs. If not, then someone comes in and wants to do an ADU and they want it 1,500 square feet and all that. We're now talking about ADUs that we don't have a definition for or anything in our, and we don't reference it anywhere.
Mm.
And I was thinking that on your cluster thing, like in the definitions on the subdivisions, there's no definition of cluster housing, because I myself was like, okay, what is that? You know, if we don't define it and it comes before us, how do we know that we don't allow it, or?
I mean, are there restrictions on what are allowed for the ADUs?
Say it again?
Are there restrictions?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
There
state
are.
restrictions, yeah, there's minimum and maximum square footage and stuff
Okay.
like that.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
that's why I thought we
just-
should have a definition,
Yeah.
that this is what our town, we follow the state. And maybe the definition says, see the state's definition, and the
Yeah.
ordinance says, see,
It actually helps the town.
what's that?
It helps the town, the state having passed that.
Yeah.
In sense of, because it was happening already,
Yeah.
so it actually just helps the town.
Do we want our ADU to be just the state's, or do we want, so the state law is the state law, so we have to follow that, and we can make it more restrictive, is basically how it goes. So,
I don't think we
Do
can
we
make
want-
it.
Yeah, I
just-
don't think, I think
We
it's,
can't
you
make it
can't
more
make it more restrictive.
oh, specifically for ADUs, they said you can't make it more
Yeah.
restrictive. Generally, let me just speak generally, so generally, state law, towns have to follow it, and then towns can make more restrictive ordinances.
Generally, but yeah, this
But
one
for
is not.
ADUs, this is not allowed.
Right.
Is this the understanding?
Could we
Yeah,
make it, we could make it
municipals-
less restrictive?
Municipalities cannot,
Can we, that would be overriding the state.
municipalities cannot impose stricter dimensional, so I was talking about dimensional standards for properties with ADU than for single-family dwellings without one.
So do we even need to reference ADUs at all in our ordinance?
Well, I think we do, because if if I go to my property and I build an ADU and it's 2,500 square feet, and you come to me and say I can't do that, I'll say, well, what do you define an ADU as? And I will argue with you.
Yeah, well, like, we don't have septic laws, we follow the state septic laws, we
Yeah.
go to do a septic. We don't rewrite the state septic laws.
No.
This is kind of the same, right? If all we're doing is quoting the state, why are we even putting it in?
I don't think septic zoning, though.
Yeah, maybe it's a bad example.
Yeah, I guess my view is
I would
if you
just
leave it out,
reference
it
the
leaves it
RSA.
open for argument.
Just reference the RSA.
Yeah, if you just reference it,
I
then,
mean, the new rule.
then we've covered it.
Okay.
This all came from the town's overstepping landowner rights, so they pulled this back. Put it more in the right of the people that actually own the land.
Right.
So it's a refreshing change. They're gonna come after the acreage too sometime.
You don't try to lower it.
Yeah, I would suspect.
Yeah, it would make sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was, if we're following the state, 67471, we just, I just put in all of Roman numeral 1. The state also has Roman numeral 2. It defines what an attached unit is, and it has Roman numeral 3 defining what a detached unit is. Are we writing those in verbatim?
Or we reference it.
Yeah, I think it needs to be all
ADU
three.
reference,
So is our definition just saying see RSA 67471, or are we actually writing out the words verbatim, I guess? That's my question.
I don't think
I would
you need
reference
to,
it.
right? I don't think you would need to.
Right.
That'd be
Up for
my
discussion.
thought, yeah.
But if you don't have this book and you ask for the ordinance because you are gonna build and you have to get oriented in what the ordinance say, you need to have this book. If you just reference, you need to have this book.
Or you have a computer, or, I mean,
Well, I don't
there's a
know.
lot of things referenced in here,
Mhm.
in these ordinances, that you don't know what it is, and they reference RSA's,
Yeah.
and they don't get
Yes.
into major details like like we would be doing. So you would need to do that for anything
Okay.
to understand what it is. So I don't think we're changing any, you know, we're not
And-
restricting information,
Well-
just see this.
Well,
I think.
I just.
That's my opinion.
I just asked the question because, you know, you all know that I don't know anything about this and I am learning as I go, yeah? Then I have, you know, I have been researching and researching, you know, going back and forth in between this and this, the ordinance, yeah? I mean, it's, you know what you think it works, yeah?
I know nothing. I can tell you,
Join my
like I
club?
said, I've said it kind of multiple times. I was on the board when we went through the zoning ordinance, and we all, you know, did like, oh, we think we're doing a good job, but it turns out we had a lot of mistakes in there. So I don't know anything. I'm glad to organize this however you all want to, and then we'll vote on it. But I truly don't know if it's appropriate to just put 67471 and leave it at that.
I mean, I see.
don't know if
Well,
it's
whatever we do
appropriate
is gonna have to
to
go to
start.
legal counsel to say that they bless it. So, I mean, there's gonna be multiple checks and balances on whatever we put in front of the
And
town.
there's a lot of examples of us just saying
It's not something to get.
an RSA, like the planning board, the local land use has authorized the town, the voters of the town of Albany under the provisions of RSA 673(1-1. Like, that's it. I don't think, you know, they didn't go, there's no detail, it's just see that.
Right.
And I don't think we're not doing anything that hasn't been done before.
I agree with that. Yeah. Do we want to just reference 674, 71, 1, 2, 3? Roman numeral
70,
one,
I think it's
Roman
72 and 73, right? Isn't it? 72 and 73?
Oh, yeah, then
I
it's.
think it's all
72
three of them, 71, 72, and 73.
In their entirety.
Yeah.
where's 73? Oh, there it is, detached. Yeah. So do we want any wording at all, or do we just say, see RSA 674, 71, 72, 73, or are we spelling out all of those in our ordinance?
I would say don't spell them out, just reference. That's my opinion.
Or are we doing a hybrid where we cite all of them, but we're writing out the first little bit that I wrote out so far?
I would think if we wrote anything, it would be, the ADU definition is reference. Those RSA's. And that's it. Point them in that direction, and that's the definition.
So the citation, RSA, blah, 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 RSA 67471, and then you want to write out that first bit?
No.
No. Don't write out the first.
I don't think so.
Okay. So no actual words, just see RSA 674, 71, 72, 73.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I mean, yeah, I'd go with that.
You're gonna give the headline of the every 672 tree abutter, so, you know, because I mean, it will be like a more, you know, word reference. It's not just a single number, but I guess, don't write, you know, the whole thing, but just that.
Right, like, 1, 2, 3. Yep, so that's another, do we write out the title? Do we write 67471, definitions? 67472, accessory dwelling units. 67473, detached accessory dwelling units. How do we want it formatted? Do we want those titles? Do we want just the numbers?
I'm for just the numbers.
Yeah. I'm sure they're gonna make us write it out, but
What's that?
I would sure they would say,
Yeah.
town attorney would probably say, just write the statute out, the most current New Hampshire statute of it, and that would be your, but that's what I would guess, but I don't think it really matters, because they're gonna tell us one way or the other when they review it.
So Chris, are you saying?
I would, I mean,
Don't write it out?
I mean, I don't know, I mean, it's just gonna, I mean, I would suspect they will tell us to write it out, if we're gonna follow the
Why not
state
do
statute,
the
that,
Index says accessory dwelling units, and says 67471 to 67473.
yeah, just put that in there, if they want us to add more, then, you know, when the attorney reviews it,
Oh, that's how the index references?
Yeah, I would say do it that way.
yeah, I agree.
I think I'm personally okay with saying RSA, just the numbers. I think I would want to explicitly say 71, 72, 73,
Yeah.
as opposed to 71 through 73. But that's That's just me.
Yeah,
Yep.
no big deal.
Yep.
Whatever's easiest, you know. The less we put down, the less mistakes. Is what I'm thinking. That we'll have to correct in the future.
So what I have right now is, in our zoning ordinance, definition number 2, the words accessory dwelling unit in all caps. That's unchanged. And then what changes is from then on, it says, what I have typed is, as defined in RSA 674:71, comma, 674:72, comma, 674:73. End of statement,
I like it.
end of definition. And then, I guess, we would need to just put, I guess once it gets adopted, then we put added, whatever date it gets adopted on.
Then you eliminated all the definitions in here, right? You know, the abutter, the accessory unit, the dwelling unit, accessory use, agriculture, they are gonna be just numbers.
Which ones?
The ones that are in page 5 and page 6 of the ordinance, yeah.
The rest of the definitions?
Yeah,
Will they, yeah, you're saying, will they be just numbers, or they're going to be just numbers?
they're gonna be just numbers.
Well, in this case, we're just referencing state statute,
Oh, okay,
because we don't have anything different to offer than the state statute.
okay,
But we still want to define it in our local zoning ordinance.
okay.
The other things may be very different than what the state says.
Mhm.
I don't know, we have to go through them one by one and see if we think they're appropriate, if we want to change it, and if it matches what state says, and if we want it to be different than what state says. So yeah, we're on accessory dwelling unit, which is number 2, I would go up to a butter, start at number 1.
I read it, and I marked it green. I liked it, so I didn't,
Does it match the state?
no, I didn't make it match the state. I just
No.
read it as, made sure I understood it, and I felt good with it, so I didn't go anywhere.
Okay.
But if you want to match it to the state and bring it up, that's fine.
I don't know, I
Yeah.
really don't.
I went through, what I did is I went through, I read them, and the ones that I questioned, I marked, that I wanted to talk about it, and the ones that I didn't question, I marked green and moved on. So that's what I did.
In the abutter, the only comment that I have, every time that we talk about the abutter in the ordinance, in other part of the ordinance, we always include a reference of the 50 feet indicated in the RACI on the number 672-3, or, you know, .3. And I was wondering if we should include in here the 50 feet protection from structures to other neighbors and things like that. I don't know, you were talking about booters, yeah? That means preventing that I overextend my house and I'm going into my neighbor pretty much the division line between the two lots, yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's because I heard, this 50 feet over and over, like 3 times, and then I went back. But it's up to you, if you want to add the 50 feet. Even in the one in here, in here, they mentioned the 50 feet, yeah?
Yep, I think that comes later. So we're just at definitions,
Okay.
what is in the butter.
Okay,
And then later in the ordinances, it's how do we apply the ordinances?
Okay.
And that's one of the applications,
Okay.
is saying, building setbacks from the road, from the side, from the rear, from right-of-ways, from other things. So
Okay.
that's a really good comment, observation, and we'll get to that as we get down into the actual zoning sections, residential and commercial.
okay.
That stuff.
But that's a really tough one.
Well,
Because anytime you deal with any type of, you have to be a certain distance from this, certain distance from that. I mean, it affects a lot of people. So, and there's a lot of pre-existing, non-conforming lots in this town that half our ordinance don't, they don't meet half the ordinance. So that's a pretty tough one if we actually want to get into that,
okay,
which I wouldn't want to make any changes personally, but.
I'm just looking at the abutter definition. It's 672:3. The state does have a little bit different language. I think it's got, this is kind of the updated thing, with lines drawn perpendicular. Remember this coming out like a year or two ago. It was kind of to make sure people that are kitty corner aren't left out of being notified. I think is basically what it boils down to. But I would say, why wouldn't we have exactly what the state has for our definition of a butter? Do we
Right.
want something more restrictive or different for some reason? I guess I'm wondering, is there any reason to have it different than what the state has? Other than just that we haven't and we don't want to change what we already have.
Oh, why would we change it?
How do we change it?
Why?
To be consistent with state ordinance, state law.
Why, what do we care? If we like our definition of a butter, you think Concord knows any better than we do? I mean, come on. I mean, if it hasn't, I'm not gonna sit here and go through every single one of them if they haven't been a problem. That's a waste of my time. I'm gonna be right out there with you. I think we need to address, and I've said this 10 times at these meetings, we need to address the issues that we've had. Reading through line by line to address fires that never were started in the history of the town, it seems like a huge waste of time to me. So, we're all gonna be here probably late tomorrow night, and just reading through it like this, what is it? I think we should just address the issues that we've seen the last 5 years. Have we had an abutter definition issue? I don't remember one, but that's just my 2 cents. I get what we're doing, but, if we're gonna actually do this, and then we need to, submit, obviously, what Jim did. That's perfect, but I'm not prepared to do that, obviously. But anyway. You get to a point
Well,
where,
and that's kind of the way I did it. I read through it, and if it, there was one I found that didn't make sense to me, all right, so special exception, number 26, page 8. It says, a specific use of land or buildings that is permitted when clearly defined criteria and conditions as set forth in this ordinance are met. Well, if all the conditions are met, why do you need a special exception? Is that worded wrong, or am I reading it wrong?
so in zoning, so a special exception in zoning is just one of their
So wouldn't that
criteria,
be
I would
if
suspect they would say.
something wasn't met, that's when you'd need a special exception?
Yeah,
I'm thinking it should be are not met. If something is not met, then it needs a special exception. But if all the ordinances are met, then, maybe I don't understand it, that's the way I read it.
Yeah, you're right, that's a good pick.
So I went through and read, and when I found something like that didn't make sense to me, I highlighted it. If they made sense to me and,
Yeah, they should say not met.
Right.
right? So
This ordinance,
Sounds like,
set forth in this ordinance are not met, special exemptions may be granted, so yeah, it should say
Right,
not
so,
met.
so I highlighted that one to correct it. And that's what I mean, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 total out of all of them. That, when I read through them, either didn't make sense, or there was another reason I highlighted it.
Right, you see that a lot, like, especially like if someone wants to put in a big grain silo that's 70 feet tall.
Right.
It's a non-combustible structure, and most of the towns always will say you could do it, as long as it's not burning, because it's not a house structure, you know? Like, that would be a special exception. But yeah, no, it seems like they left out not, the word not there, but of course, that would be a legal thing, like, even they might give us clarity on that if we submit it to them, you know? But-
So, but back to your conversation of not going through all of them, I agree.
Well, I have gone through all of them, but I
Yeah.
mean, I just think we've talked about
We don't
this
need
for
to change all of
years,
them.
and I think with everybody's experience and time sitting on these boards, like, where are the ones that have caused us trouble? You know, that's what I've said in the past, and I still believe it today, so. And to me, that's what the state addressed, and then, it's really not in definitions, it's more just, when you get deeper into our zoning, it's just the cluster housing piece is confusing. And we have a lot of data on that from the HEB. I mean, we know where that was confusing, so.
So, just to go back, does anyone want to talk about a butter anymore, or move on? We could match it to the state RSA?
I'm
or
good
we could
with the way it
just
is.
Leave it as is?
I'm good with the way it is.
Yeah,
I personally think we should just match it to the state RSA, just like we did with accessory dwelling unit, say as defined by 672.3, and delete all the words, and it matches the state, and we don't have any conflicts or gray areas, and we certainly know state had it reviewed by, their lawyers and counsels and blah, 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 blah. And they updated it for a reason, because there were gaps in the existing, which is what we have. 672.3 in our ordinance is from the RSA as it existed some years ago.
okay.
The state updated it because there were holes or gaps or whatever, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, if we were referencing 672.3 from 2018, if
So
2026 is different, then, I mean, I have to read it, I haven't read the new butter definition,
Yeah, it's in
but,
your book if you just.
yeah, I know, I hear you, but
I think
I'm
it's
not,
just
I don't
easy.
do stuff last minute, Larry, like, I need to
I
just
think
look
it's
at
just
it.
easy enough to delete the words and just say 672.3.
So do we do that to everything?
I know, so that's what
Everything that has a state definition, we can.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I mean, everything that has a state definition, if we want to just match the state definition, we can. If we want to have our own definition for some reason, we can do that. But it doesn't make much sense to me to have our own definition. Like, so then we're just making stuff up. Unless we really want to
But
go
is
different than what the state
is
has.
the new definition different than the previous one?
The one in our ordinance
Yeah.
references the state,
Uh-huh.
and it is just
Yeah.
old and will outdate it. So the state, every year, they update the RSA's, and the definition of a butter, one of these years got updated. And it basically is to include people that are kitty corner, to make sure explicitly the people that are kitty corner get notified as butters. That's most of what the extra language in there is.
I would agree with you, Sean. Just, yeah, get rid of the words, point to the state definition. change for a reason, we're covered. If, right, as you say, if the definition does exist in the state RSAs, let's go with that, just as defined in RSA, it is. And when they change it, then ours changes. But yeah, there's a lot of definitions here that are not there, so those will keep. Unlike, you know, except where you see something where we think we're leaving out a word, like
Right.
not, which totally changes the
Right,
definition
yeah.
to the opposite of what you're trying to get at.
Okay. So does anyone else object to just deleting the words and just having a butter say RSA 672:3? Is that agreeable?
Yeah, I think that's fine.
It-
Yeah, because
it's
if we're getting
consistent with
into
what
a
we're
definition, it's already defined in here, it could be conflicting. So,
doing. Yeah, right, we have a conflict right now. Saying we're referencing the state, but not actually having the verbiage of the state. Agreed. Okay, whatever's next, who wants to say what's next? You guys can drive. What's next?
I would say, so Jim made a motion to adjourn, I would say, let's
I was
address.
joking.
Oh, were you joking?
I'm joking, yeah, we're done with this.
All right. I would definitely, oh, okay, you're going through one by one, that's fine, all right.
I have a question in page, I refer to the page 6 of our ordinance, but forgive me for my ignorance. I don't understand what is the difference, I mean, between the dwelling, number 6 dwelling, and the residential dwelling unit.
Yeah, so I
Because
had that.
both of them are residential. Why we
I-
have these two categories?
Yep, I had that done, I had it highlighted also, and then I looked at, in the subdivision things, they have the same, or close to the same definitions.
Yeah,
But they're different. The residential, I thought it was redundant,
yeah.
having that, so I thought we should lean towards the subdivision definitions
Okay,
for those, but.
okay,
that was on.
I mean, it's page 6 in the ordinance, yeah, for anyone interested, yeah?
Yep.
On subdivision regulations, page 5,
Yeah,
section H.
it's page 6. Don't tell me that we have different, yeah, but anyway, whatever. I mean, do we need, this is another question, do we need the definition of duplex or multifamily dwelling, my Lord, dwelling? Did I pronounce it well? You're getting guys to my accent, I'm sorry. Because I mean, duplex is, the word say is duplex, it's two, yeah, and I will put it under the same, I don't know, for me, it's like a, not redundant, but why do you have to specify the two types with the, you know, I mean, even that don't know anything what the same multifamily dwelling is, I imagine that is more than duplex, yeah? Because the duplex is already established, yeah, yeah. I would say duplex and or multifamily.
My question would be, when would a dwelling not be residential, I guess?
That's another question, yeah. I mean, it's,
So Jim, you're proposing, Matt, what are you proposing?
I just thought the one in subdivision regulations was cleaner. It didn't have the redundancy of a residential dwelling unit. It was just much easier to read and kind of straightforward, as opposed to the one in the zoning ordinance definitions. And it was 6, 7, And 7A and 7B is covered under H on subdivision regulations. H and H1, H2.
Yeah, anyone else have any thoughts here? My questions on the subdivision definition is what is a housekeeping unit? And I think we have a definition for structure, so it references the word structure, which I think is one of the ones we're going to be addressing. Structures and our definitions. Yes, so number 27. We have the definition for structure. What is a housekeeping unit? What does that mean? I guess I kind of wonder, why wouldn't our dwelling unit just be the exact same definition as accessory dwelling unit minus the word accessory? And then we would have the same language. So 674-71 accessory dwelling unit, if you just take out the word accessory, you end up with dwelling unit. And it would be identical. I could read it. Dwelling unit means a residential living unit that is located on a lot containing a single-family dwelling that provides independent living facilities for one or more persons, including provisions for sleeping, eating, cooking, and sanitation. We would delete the part that it's on the same parcel of land as the principal dwelling unit it accompanies. So it would just end after sleeping, eating, cooking, and sanitation.
Sounds good to me.
That sounds good to me.
Then
Does that affect other things, though? I mean, you start removing things, and there's a reason why they put accessory dwelling in there.
Yeah,
So you start changing things,
yeah,
I mean,
I don't know.
that's why I just said I wouldn't change things that hadn't created an issue for us.
Yeah, I would say we should ask before we delete things, in case there is a snowball effect with it. Because I don't know I don't know, but there could be.
I mean, I know there's, for home businesses, they refer to sometimes the accessory dwelling and the home businesses and the accessory dwelling, like, so if we remove the definition from our zoning, then,
Oh, we're not removing the definition of accessory dwelling unit.
but if you take accessory out, if it's referencing accessory dwelling in other places, you know, I don't know, it's just legislating because we're bored. I mean, I don't know, but.
All right, Jim's proposing we take our subdivision definitions and put them in our zoning ordinance. Does anyone have any thoughts on this? My thoughts are, what is a housekeeping unit?
Yeah, I was looking at that word and, you know, really what you want to throw in there is dwelling, but you don't want dwelling, your definition of dwelling to have the word dwelling in it.
Why do we have
Right.
one or more rooms? Who cares?
Um,
Why is that language in there?
So
That just seems confusing and unnecessary.
I was trying to see what the single-family home, I don't know what the wording is that we would use to replace housekeeping. A single structure unit. I don't know. Back to 6 and 7, I just thought it was redundant to have dwelling and residential dwelling unit.
I don't know. It does seem,
I just, I feel like they put it in there for some reason.
Yeah.
And so that's why
Yeah.
I can't vote on it one way or the other, because,
Right.
I mean, if in 1995 they added that, why'd we add that? So I guess I'd have to
yeah, they added it.
do
It
a
was
little
already
research before I just
residential,
pull it out,
right.
just to squeeze
And
things.
residential dwelling unit was already in there, and they added it for some reason, and they edited it, both of them, on.
The same time.
In 95 at the same time.
95.
So there was a reason why they added dwelling, seems like.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
I mean, you know me, I'd like to cut half this thing out of here, but I just,
Right.
I don't want to create, if it was put in there to address a certain problem that we don't know of, well, we got to figure that out. you know?
And when I highlighted, I didn't highlight it thinking there was a problem with it, it
yeah,
seemed
it seems,
redundant.
and it does, on the surface.
It
And
does,
maybe that's
yeah.
fine.
Yeah,
It
it
does,
does.
that's fine.
Yeah.
So how about this? So, what I'm doing here as I'm editing is things we want to change and putting in green. And things we want to remove and putting in red. And how about things we're unsure of that we want someone to review it and help us understand if it's necessary or unnecessary or confusing or conflicting, that I'll just put it in another color, yellow or something. And that'll be for outside review because we don't have the answer to it? Or do you just want to leave it in black and move on?
When I read this with my innocent view, right, I say, in one building, you're gonna have 3 to 6 separate dwelling units. I mean that I imagine this is a huge house set in 2 acres and divided inside with your side, my side, your side. Then it is more complicated right now because if it is can be also understood that it can be 3 different buildings connected, it's like they say, multifamily, but it's 3 houses. No,
Are you on
one
B,
house.
multi-family dwelling?
Yeah,
I think that's more just an apartment building, is that what I would, I would call it.
You know, I mean, I
Yeah.
say, well, you know, what is this building? What kind of building is 1 to 3 high, you know? I mean, and I started to look for regulations in the ordinance. How high can you build in a residential area? You know, like, you know, if my neighbor across the street decided to build, you know, like a building of 4 floors, I mean, it's gonna be, you know, shocking my view, yeah? I mean, it's I mean, it is no the same thing to build a house of 2 floors than a 4-floor building, yeah? Transit-wise, is a lot of, more people on the area, yeah? And this is, you know, one of the things that stuck me in here, and I make, you know, several comments to myself, and I even went in the internet and looked for the what is the meaning of multifamily dwelling, yeah?
Two and a half stories. Albany's 2.5 stories of height, so you couldn't do that anywhere. So.
We cannot do it in here.
Yeah, I mean, just all,
A building erected on a lot shall not exceed 2.5 stories of height, or 35 feet.
Yeah, I thought we had a restriction.
Yeah. So that's a fire department thing.
Yep.
So the ladders and all that, the trucks to be able to service a fire, so that's already in there.
Okay.
So,
So to move things along, I'm fine with 6 and 7. I just, in my mind, thought it was redundant, but if it's,
yeah, we'll
It's
just
safe
see,
to
we'll
leave
just
it.
see, yeah, just having a little faith in people before us.
yeah.
I mean, if they've added it, I would think they added it for a reason.
Yeah. And they further broke it down, too.
Maybe not.
So,
I think 6 seems vague to me. I kind of want 6. Reviewed by someone that knows better than me. I think it seems vague,
Yeah.
you know,
Mark it on that list.
for review. Dwelling for review. 6 dwelling for review. How about 7? Residential dwelling unit for review, keep it, change it? Are we changing it? Do we want to kind of punt and review?
The 6 and 7 looks the same thing. You know, the one that are, I mean, in the first definition of residential dwelling, yeah? But the number 6 have no, if you add this, a place to live in the residence of a house, a structure, or just corrected the English with you don't need to say a structure because you are talking about a residence, yeah? You eliminate one number.
Right, I think 6 is vague and confusing. We don't have a
Yeah.
definition of a
Yeah,
house,
yeah.
a place to live in. I guess we have the definition for residence under residential dwelling unit. It seems circular. I don't understand why it's there. It doesn't kind of make sense to me. I would want some review on that. Does anyone else want to do anything with 6, other than say punt for review?
I think a review, yeah.
How about 7? Does anyone want to do anything with 7?
You might as well review both of them
Yeah.
collectively.
Okay, what's next?
Want me to go off my list?
Anybody? I'm not driving. I'm just kind of...
Let me see. No.
Well, Yeah, actually, how about 5, building? So we gotta get building and structure pretty clean. Because this is where people have been trying to find wiggle room, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where that definition comes from. I don't know if it matches state. I don't know if it's adequate or inadequate. I don't know. All right, state has a definition. It's 155A1. It's got 7 Roman numerals. Starts with, building means building as defined and interpreted by the International Code, Council's International Building Code adopted under RSA, blah, 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 amended by the State Building Code, ratified, blah, blah, blah. So, state is referencing building as defined by the International Code, Building Code. Do we want to have our own definition? Do we like our definition? Do we want to
I'm
match
going to
state?
go back to, if we pull in some of these other definitions that are broader, we don't know the scope of the change throughout.
Yeah, what's the international building?
We're opening our.
What's
I
the
think
international
that's
building
worse
code?
than leaving what we have alone, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I just think it's that much, it's dangerous.
Yeah, because all of a sudden, we could be
Yeah, so there's something in there that we have
increasing the
somewhere
cost
else.
of building a house by tenfold, like
Yeah.
our neighbors do,
Yeah.
and there's some really strict codes that they have to abide by now. And I know my friends are builders, and they say it's ridiculous how much it costs to build
Where
in
we
an
mean?
adjacent town.
Oh, in addition town?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So I would be wary of pulling in some code
Yeah.
personally.
Or reference,
Yeah.
it's gonna reference something that
Yeah.
we don't have here, that's gonna open another can of worms that we're not gonna be able to address. I think, we run that risk. Not that we don't run a risk with what we have, but if what we have
Yeah, but we
hasn't
have.
been an issue for the last 30 years, right?
Okay. Building stays as is. So yeah, that was me, so I said, whoever wants to put out what's next. What's next, I'll shut up.
The next one I had was 26, and that was the special exception. I think they left out the word not.
Should we run that by, I think we talked about it briefly, didn't we? Send that in for.
Yeah, send that in for review.
Yeah, I think we can read through this. I'm pretty sure it's actually correct. If you go to like somewhere in your zoning where it actually, you start to get to the special exception stuff, it's laying out a bunch of criteria, and if you meet the criteria, then you can have it built. So like, for example, Tin Mountain is a special exception. I think World Fellowship's a special exception, right? They're in a residential zone, but they're not a residence, right? And, let's see what page it is, but,
The special exception is in page 8,
page
yeah? Number 26.
8, the definition, yes.
Yeah.
But then the actual, how it's used in the zoning ordinance.
Oh, in the zoning is,
Uses of, okay, here it is. Page 12, other uses permitted. So this is like our residential, yeah, residential. We're in residential, yeah. commercial. All right. Let's just do residential. That would be page 11. So in residential, you have 1, where it's located, 2, the lot requirements, which is 2 acres. Some other stuff, setbacks. Number 3 is uses permitted. Uses permitted 3 is single duplex, agriculture and farming, accessory buildings, seasonal agriculture, open space development. Okay, maybe something we're getting rid of. Yard sales, home occupations, and accessory dwelling units. Number 4, so this is on page 11, other uses permitted. The following permitted uses are subject to site plan review and approval of the planning board. Additional conditions may be imposed by the planning board to ensure that the use does not violate the intent of this ordinance, is consistent with the goals established in the town's master plan and the conditions set forth in the special exceptions section of this ordinance. Here are some special exceptions: church, parish house, religious, school, community center, hall lodge. That's like 10 miles, or having a church in your neighborhood. I believe, and I think the definition is correct, is that when you meet the criteria, then you get approval from the planning board
When you meet the criteria of other uses, right?
of a special exception. When you meet the special exception criteria, then you get permitted by the planning board. So it's not that you,
Okay.
Not met, yeah, you haven't not met something, you've met it,
you
then
didn't
you
meet
get
it
to,
to get
yeah, I
approval.
agree with
Yeah, so I
Okay.
think that one's correct.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's accurate, it's district compliant, yeah, it's written right.
And I'll just put out there, we can stop or keep going as long as you all want. I'm here to go as far as you want to go, and then we'll adjourn whenever everyone wants to adjourn.
That's all I had, definitions, as
That's
far as
it?
I got. So.
That was it, so no structure? Yeah, okay. Structure?
What page are you right now?
Structure is definitions, page 8,
8?
number 27. The structure is number 27 on page 8.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this is where people were trying to get wiggly with what. I thought this was specifically a request from the select board to tighten this up.
No, well, not that I recall, the issue that we had was ADUs,
Just ADUs?
back before the state changed it.
People building livable space on in outbuildings.
Yeah. One guy had what we considered an ADU. It was a separate building that had a 16-foot porch on it, had a kitchen, bathroom, bedrooms. And we told him it was a detached ADU. And he said, okay, what do I need to do to make it not an ADU? And we didn't know what to tell him other than, get rid of the kitchen and bath, but then we ran into questions as far as, well, if I have a barn and I want to have a bathroom in there,
Yeah.
So that's where we ran into those issues, but
But now you can
Now
have
it's,
it.
yeah.
now you can have it, so.
Good point, yeah.
I don't remember there being any issue with the word structure.
Okay. Anything else? I guess this is my thing about structure. Temporary things. To me, I kind of wonder about, okay, like Paul's garages stuff, the frame things with the tarps, shipping containers, you know, the Albany sheds, this kind of stuff, like, and I'm not saying we have to regulate it or anything, but the question comes to mind is, size and permanence. And I can see that, you know, anything that's temporary, I don't know that we should really be regulating. Put something up seasonally and we take it down. I don't know. But if it's permanent, do you need a building permit? Is a shipping container permanent? You know, a shipping container meets the definition of structure. Therefore, you would need to get a building permit to get a shipping container put on your property. Just question. I'm not saying.
Yeah, I think that's craziness, so I would never be for that, so. It's like, who are we as a town to tell someone they can't have a building container, I mean, a shipping container?
All right, so.
I mean, you know, that's my personal opinion, like, that's
Is that
just.
more for a subdivisions ordinance, like, what's that called when you're in a?
Like a homeowners association?
Yeah, like
Yeah, I mean, you could
HOA.
address that like that, I'm sure. I mean, and they do. I mean, anytime you build a subdivision, you have to have a homeowners association and with the state and submit it and all that.
Yeah, because in the neighborhood I live in, we have a list of, whatever you call, I can't remember the name of what I'm thinking of, but restrictions.
Bylaws.
Yeah, restrictions or whatever, and there is a list of them, you can't have junk vehicles, you can't have mobile homes, you can't have
Yeah.
chickens, goats, farm animals. So anyways, it's not enforced, but there is a list of stuff. So I think that would be where that would come into, that'd be my opinion, that would be where that would come into effect.
Then, you know, like as far as the town enforcement, so then the board would have to.
Yeah.
So you have an unregistered snowmobile trailer that sits there. What are you gonna do with that? You have, you know, you have a Connex, but then you have a hand-built Connex that has an axle, you know, a wood box.
Right.
It's like, you know, it becomes this rabbit hole of, I mean, there was a selectman 15 years ago that every day you drove by a place and they had an outside tent where they would sit under. He raised heck about that. Said that's a full-time year-round structure. Well, I mean, it's an outside tent, but he was from a different part of the country and that stuff wasn't allowed, so it was, you know, so it's just, you know, I don't think, you know, I would never be for adding restrictions, but, you know, because I don't know where you would end.
My question is kind of, like I said, time and size. Like, I think, you know, some size you just say is exempt, you know, under some certain square footage. And if it's temporary, do what you want.
You gotta define temporary. I mean, Connex is a temporary.
Gets moved once a
Tents
year.
are temporary.
Yeah, right, you do have to define it.
And then size, like
Yeah, and
My
999
definition of
square
temporary
feet
would be
or
like it's moved
1,001
once a
square
year.
feet.
But
versus
then you
the-
gotta enforce it too.
Right? I agree.
Um,
I agree.
I think we've talked before about the last thing we ever want is someone driving around,
Yeah.
you know, a code enforcement officer driving around town trying to find
Didn't they get rid of
a
medicines?
Connex in the back of someone's yard or
Get
something.
rid
It's
of
just,
medicines?
that's not, yeah, it's not the town I want to live in either.
They're done with
I think so, that's what I heard, I'm not sure.
it. Yeah, I don't know, I mean.
But,
Live free or die.
I remember when I purchased my house, there was the garage that I built. And I have to come in here and get a permit. Then isn't this the normal procedure that if I wanted, you know, to build something that is not the original structure, I have to come in here and, or I can build without coming in here and bypass the planning board? Is
So
it,
you wouldn't have to, like, so if you, when you built your garage, you came in and you paid a fee at the town
yeah,
office, and as long as you met the setbacks
uh-huh,
on the little plan that you probably gave them, you'd pay your building, then you
Yeah.
get it. It really wasn't, you didn't have to go in front of the planning board. Anytime you have to go in front of the board, it's a commercial operation, right? Anybody can, if I build a barn on my property, I can
but
go get a
how do
building
you
permit.
know that I'm building, this is my question, how do you know that I am building that garage if I don't come and comply with the law.
Well, then, when they reassessed your
assess it,
house,
would
they would
identify
say
it.
you have a garage that wasn't on there, and you'd have to pay the extra assessment,
Okay?
you know?
So my follow-up question to that is like, yeah, at what size do things become like a shed that doesn't, do all sheds get assessed, no matter how small they are?
Go ahead, yeah, they all-
Anything shed-like gets assessed. It's like an outhouse size thing up to the biggest thing.
I've got chicken coop and a duck coop
Yep.
and a shed and, I
I
mean,
mean, they put $100 on it.
yeah, they're all in the
No,
assessment.
And do you have to get building permits for each of those?
Yeah.
But you don't have to get a building permit for any kind of like tarp tent frame thing or connex or anything like.
Yeah, look, in my mind, those are pretty much temporary.
Yeah.
Chicken coop is not.
Chicken coop? Mine sits on blocks, but,
I don't know, I mean, they come really big, like, I'm not, just for example, right, Coleman Rental, you guys had massive, right?
Oh, we got a ton of them, yeah, so,
So someone can buy those and plop them on, and you don't need a building permit, and you don't pay taxes on it, because it's temporary? Is that, I don't know, I'm asking the question.
Those have to be assessed.
they're part of the assessment,
Yeah, they're assessed.
you just don't need a building permit for them. Every town's different,
Yeah,
but,
so how does that go? I mean,
well,
again,
when they walk around with their clipboard and they put values on everything that's sitting on all of our property, all of your property, my property, whoever's property,
yeah,
they just put a value to it. So if they think it's worth $5,000, they put a value to it. They know what it is,
yeah,
you know, so.
but no building permit needed to
No.
put that on.
I mean, I don't know, I wouldn't know at that time, but I wouldn't think so, not for a tent, you know, but,
I guess the, you know, what defines that? Right, when I read structure, I would think that would fall under it, but maybe I'm reading it differently.
yeah.
Anything built for support, shelter, enclosure of persons, animals, goods, or property of any kind, as well as anything constructed or erected with a fixed location on or in the ground exclusively.
I think that's where it comes into play, a fixed location. It's not-
yeah,
it's not
Connex is not a
fixed.
fixed location, those
It's not
tents.
fixed.
Tents are not
Can be
fixed. You can
moved.
take them down and put them somewhere else in a day.
I think that's where that,
That's
Yeah.
where it comes in.
And
It's fixed.
there, as far as the enforcement end of it, you'd be running around, we'd have to, I mean.
yeah.
And I, honestly, as a landowner,
I
I'd be
moved it
like,
6
yeah,
inches."
nice try, town of Albany, it's not happening. And, because they don't have the right to do that,
Yeah.
because it's not their land.
Yeah.
So, it's America. Still, it's a struggle sometimes, but, land rights are pretty, pretty important to a lot of us. Some people don't could care less about it, but there's a lot of us that feel that, the town of Albany, as awesome as it is, doesn't have the right to your land.
It shouldn't be a one big HOA.
Right, it's not one big
Right.
HOA with people telling us all the things we can't do with the land that we pay taxes on and work hard for, so.
Yep.
And not every town, not every state, I mean, you go do something in California, it's a fiasco. You can't do anything there, so everybody has their own, what they think is right, but I would never be for adding anything that would start to limit landowner rights. So, and that's just my personal opinion, but you start going in looking at these specific things, there is no stop to it. Because, if you're requiring a permit for a tent, well then, you put up a screen house that you bought at Walmart for $210, you're gonna have to get a permit for that? I mean, and then who's gonna run around and police all this? Because most people are gonna say, yeah, I don't think so, so, I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I'm a big supporter of personal property rights as well, just to be clear.
Good, good.
Just asking the questions.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, and I'm not I'm just giving an opinion, I'm not coming at anybody here at all, I see what happens when regulators don't have a lot to do, they overregulate. So I just don't want to see us do that. And I do see towns around us that have legal budgets that are through the roof, because they're worrying about baloney, like, signs on an old bakery, or,
donut being-
short-term rent, and the short-term rental, or, like, just these things that just, they don't matter. And I don't hate to see, as hard as I've worked all these years in Albany, and hard as everybody else works that's involved within the town, to see us create a tax burden because we're just being stupid. Because towns like whatever around us have made some really bad decisions, and it's cost them a lot of money, and, we have a pretty good tax rate here. But to keep that, it's a constant fight against making changes, because everybody likes changes. I'm not saying you, Sean, or you, Morris, or anybody here, or Brian, or whatever. I'm just saying, you gotta sometimes just leave things alone, but.
Agreed. Anything else, definitions? Want to call it here?
Yeah, we'll probably be here late. I mean, we'll be here for a while tomorrow, and you're gonna be here all day, so.
Is it tomorrow?
Oh, yeah, second Tuesday, yeah.
Want to make a motion to adjourn?
Anybody would like to?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Adjourn.